So guys, I've been doing something very dangerous. I've been thinking about 5 mistakes that I made while selling online. Well guys, as you know, I've been selling online for a very long time. I've been through all the different channels, all the different retailers. I've been doing this for years. But when I first got started, I made a lot of mistakes. There was a time where even I wasn't perfect. Could you believe that? Anyhow, this could be the time where you don't make a mistake and you subscribe to our channel and give us a like. I want to tell you guys about the first mistake I made. One of the first mistakes I made when I was getting into my e-commerce career was that I wanted to sell a bunch of different things, a ton of different items, take over the world with a giant catalog, and get out there and make a big impact. What I can tell you is that that was a huge mistake. I started off with around 1,000 items, and I would have been better off starting with a smaller catalog of more concentrated items. I was throwing a different listing up every day, multiple listings every day, not really putting a lot of effort into descriptions, into photos and everything, just pumping out quantity. But the problem was, I had 1,000 listings, but none of them sold. When I started to dial back, focusing on a couple product lines at a time, started focusing on getting the images right and the descriptions right, I started selling a whole lot more merchandise. From here, I decided to take my time and slowly began to relist every single product with better names, better descriptions, better photographs. And that's really when my e-commerce business began to take off. My second biggest mistake was not advertising from the beginning. What I realized a little too late on Amazon is that sales velocity is everything. Amazon rewards sellers who list products that sell often and at high volume. This means that you want to do everything you can to sell as much product as you can as quick as you can. And when you don't have reviews and you don't have a customer base, this is a hard thing to do. It's a really big ask from Amazon, but you can do it. And one of the best ways to do this is to advertise. Get that out there. Get your product showing up on suggested pages. Get it being shown to customers who can make those purchases. And this will allow you to establish that sales velocity and allow you to sell a lot more early on. If you are not advertising when you're launching a product, you're going to have a very low sales velocity, and it's going to be really hard to recover from that, especially after Amazon has a bunch of data about how your product sells and how quickly it sells. So it's very important that you start advertising products from the get-go. My third biggest mistake is not paying enough attention to the competition. I went into product categories that I had no business going into, where other sellers were cutthroat, their prices were rock bottom, and there was no margin for anybody to make, let alone me. So I went out, I sourced all these products that were in very competitive categories, only to find out the margins were not as big as I wanted, or that a couple sellers really controlled the category and it was very difficult to bid on keywords. It's important to do some market research up front, so that way you know what you're getting into. You know that the numbers work. You understand if I'm paying this much and I'm spending this much on ads, that I have this much left on the top. If you don't do the math beforehand, you're going to find out the hard way that some products just aren't viable. They just don't work. And then you're going to have to get creative. If you're looking at ways to get creative, go back, take a second and watch our last video on how to turn products from lead into solid gold. But it's better if you don't start with a lead product anyhow. It was the winter of 2015. And not only was it cold and dark, but we had too much inventory in the Amazon warehouse. Now, having too much inventory in the Amazon warehouse is a huge problem. And it's one of my biggest mistakes as an Amazon seller. When I first started with Amazon, I had no clue that certain items were going to be seasonal and not sell as well in the winter months. And Amazon charges more money for long-term storage than they do for standard storage. So here I am with thousands of units in an Amazon fulfillment center being charged holiday rates and paying long-term storage fees. I lost so much money on inventory that I sent that was overstock that could have been simply avoided had I thought more about forecasting and I thought more about seasonality and these other aspects that could affect my sales. I also could have avoided this by sending less inventory more often so I could be more reactive. It's important if you're just getting started with Amazon to not send too much inventory, because if you end up with a bunch of inventory on Amazon, you're going to be left with two options: pay exorbitant storage costs or pay to have all that inventory removed and sent back to you. Neither one of these things are a good thing for your business. Avoid the mistake I made and don't find yourself overstocked at Amazon. Keep a close eye on your inventory and don't go too crazy with it. My fifth and final biggest mistake I made selling online was focusing too much on one single channel. And about 2 years ago, this came to bite me in the butt. I was doing so well on Amazon. I was selling millions of dollars. I was the fat cat. I didn't give a care in the world. And then one day, I got a little notification. Your account has been temporarily suspended. At that moment, I knew I screwed up because I didn't diversify my sales channels. I spent the next week getting my account put back online and dealing with the issue that Amazon said I had. Because of this, I lost out on tens of thousands of dollars, and I had to rebuild all that sales velocity that we talked about earlier in this video. I lost all my velocity and my sales plummeted. I'm still rebuilding from that event, and that was 2 years ago. Putting all your eggs in one basket and just going with one retailer like Amazon will cause you to have a narrow view of the overall market and places where you can be selling goods. You want to make sure that you are selling in multiple marketplaces, that you're not just counting on one retailer to be successful. You want to be on all the major retailers. You want to be on Amazon, Walmart, eBay, Newegg, Sears, Wayfair, etc., 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 etc. There are endless of these, and you want to get out there and get on as many of these as you can. Being a multi-channel seller is not only safer than being a single-channel seller, it is more profitable. What I've noticed is since I opened my business up to multiple retailers, I have more orders overall. Sure, my Amazon sales might not have recovered since the summer of 2017, but overall I am making more money from the other channels plus Amazon, and my business is healthier than ever because if I lost the channel, I would not be ceasing to operate. So guys, these are the 5 biggest mistakes I think I made selling on Amazon. I'd love to hear what your 5 biggest mistakes are, or even just number 1. Please take a second to like and subscribe, leave us a comment, send us an email, connect with us on social media. There's endless ways to get engaged with us, and we hope you'll go and do that. I'm going to be coming at you every Monday with more content, and we're really excited this year to get out there and do a bunch of new videos on a bunch of different topics that I know you guys will really care about. Thank you guys for being part of the Shipmate Squad. We'll see you next time.